How is this Red Sox starting rotation going to get back on track after beginning the season with an MLB-worst 9.13 ERA and -1.3 WAR? It could be as simple as continuing to build arm strength, increasing velocity and rediscovering power. That might take a few more weeks. Ask Brian Bannister what he sees with all the home runs being hit off Red Sox pitchers, and the answer is quite simple: it's all about stuff. And the Red Sox need to rediscover their stuff. Our pitchers will continue to get back to their peak velocities and you'll see improved production as that happens, said Bannister, the team's assistant pitching coach known for his understanding of pitch data. Bannister estimates that it takes about 6 weeks for a pitcher to regain his full firing capacity in a new season. 6 weeks is usually the duration of spring training, but the starting pitchers weren't exactly letting it rip in spring training this year. Most didn't see game action until early March, just 3 weeks before opening day. Chris Sale's spring debut wasn't until March 16th. He was throwing in only controlled environments until then. 6 weeks from that date would put him near the beginning of May before he's at his strongest. David Price made his spring debut on March 12th, Nathan Eovaldi on March 13th and Rick Porcello on March 10th. Eduardo Rodriguez had the earliest start on Feb. 27. It's all part of the grander plan to keep them throwing harder later in the season. And it worked fine last year, but it seems to have come at a cost this time around. Sale, Eovaldi and Rodriguez have all seen decreases in their average four-seam velocity from last year, with Sale's 91.3 miles per hour down from 95.6 miles per hour the most drastic. Eovaldi is averaging 97.4 miles per hour after averaging 99 miles per hour last October. Rodriguez is averaging 92.6 miles per hour after averaging 94.1 miles per hour last October. Pitching coach Dana Levingey said of Sale last week, "You guys want him to pitch the whole year, or do you want him to go out and throw 100 miles per hour right now and not be there for his team? He's building. The results have not been good. Here are the 5 starters slugging percentages they're allowing on their four-seam fastball this year compared to last year. Sale, 2.000 versus .339, Eovaldi, .400 versus .309, Rodriguez, 1.059 versus .381, Porcello, .556 versus .437, and Price, 1.000 versus .461. Think of a golf swing. As a golfer tries to hit the ball harder, oftentimes that comes at the sacrifice of accuracy. Pitching is similar. As the power returns, Red Sox starters won't have to dig back and try harder to reach their average velocities, a mechanism that can result in too many misfires, and oftentimes bad location that's the cause of a lot of home runs. Together, Red Sox starters have allowed 16 homers in 10 starts, easily the worst of any rotation in baseball. Bannister explained what he's seeing from opposing hitters' approach. The goal of every hitter right now is to get on plane and hit the ball in the air, he said. And getting on plane also gives you more margin for error as a hitter to handle the steadily increasing velocity across baseball. Whether we like it or not on the pitching side, velocity is extremely important. You see once again secondary pitches handily outperforming fastballs across the league. So there's a certain level of velocity you need to attain as a pitcher, and maintain it. And then you have to be able to get hitters off that plane to generate swing and miss. Hitters are completely content with an all-or-nothing approach right now. I think something like roughly 40% of all runs right now are home runs. That's just the reality of modern pitching. Through Sunday, 46% of the runs scored in Major League Baseball this season were scored on home runs. That number was just 42% last year. Overall, home runs are up 9% from just 1 year ago. You have to have velocity, you have to train for velocity, and you have to be able to throw secondary pitches that can get off the bat plane of the hitter, Bannister said. That's a mandatory requirement of all pitchers in today's game, where that wasn't the case 10 years ago, where hitters were trying to put the ball in play with 2 strikes, or move the runner over, or any of these things that are no longer part of today's hitting philosophies with the shifts in advanced defenses. It's velocity and spin, or die. While the Red Sox did question the game plan for Rodriguez in his first start, it's also easy to point to his diminished fastball velocity to understand why he hasn't had much confidence in the pitch this year. Overall, the Red Sox are okay with their pitching strategy, which last year was summed up by fastballs up in the zone and breaking balls down. Nothing has changed in that department, Bannister said. You're trying to stay off the swing plane of a hitter. It's just with every year, pitchers are throwing harder. Teams are finding a way to make the average pitch be faster, whether it's the use of an opener, more relievers, less pitches per outing for a starter, as well as more advanced training methods in the off-season and during the season. So there's just a very strong velocity component to everything that's done in pitching. The Red Sox are hoping to see their pitchers' velocity increase soon. The other thing that happens as a side effect of that is only the hitters that can handle velocity remain at the major league level, Bannister said. The guys that don't get on plane, the guys that can't handle velocity, through reaction time or eyesight or hand quickness, they're naturally filtered out of the major leagues. And the only guys left over year after year are the guys that can handle velocity. So it just makes it even that more important that pitchers throw hard, but also have other ways to get off that plane to complement velocity. To Bannister, it all boils down to stuff. It's the reality of today's game, he said. You either train for stuff, go out and execute stuff, or it's very hard to pitch to right now.